Hello and welcome everyone. It's that time of the week again. I'm Greg. Welcome to OzByDrone.
Hi everybody, I'm John. Great to have you back with us this week again. Great show this week. Lots of fun topics and a great guest as usual.
Yeah, we've got a great guest. We got Caleb from the Drone Dojo. It's a cool name of a kind of a place, the dojo where you get to learn about all stuff drone related under the hood. We actually had a feature video from Caleb about 3 weeks ago, and we're going to play that again, just a little section of that video a little bit later today. But before we get into anything, John, I got a couple of clips that came into my messenger earlier today from Tim French. This first one, let's just play that one right now. Now, this one, this is actually in Australia.
Uh-oh. I mean, all he needs really now is a cliff. That would just really complete the image, wouldn't it? Oh, look, he's going. We're off. That's something.
There is no crash with this. This is reportedly in Australia, and this video came in from none other than Tim French, the guy who was famous for the human lifting drone. But the difference is that who's piloting this? And I can't tell from the video, but hypothetically, if he is piloting it, then it's a experimental aircraft. If someone else is piloting it, then what's the difference between what Tim did and what this guy's and his team are doing? There's a question for you.
It looks quite elegant, doesn't it, in terms of its design? You can see the controls done by independent rotating and obviously speed. So yeah, that really worked. That looked pretty good to me.
And we'll go to another video. This is actually from Tim French, and this is him doing a little bit of testing. So he's looking at drone delivery services and how can he go and make that happen himself. He's, we've seen his big aircraft before, and this is him doing some programming tests where you've got certain maneuvers being sent to the drone, so those commands, and we'll go back to the studio. It was only a short clip.
Yeah. That looks like a Talon. I've been looking at that aircraft as well. But our listeners might correct me there. The V-tail and the size gives that away as a Talon. Very, very efficient foam airframe, actually, for that kind of work. It's a good lifter. It
is, absolutely. So, look, we're going to have Tim come in a few weeks' time. We've got some great stuff lined up for you. We're hoping to have, I think, Doc Murdoch next week. I'll confirm that later with Grumpy. Maybe the week after, we'll see if we can get Tim in. We also want to get our friend from NoLimitDrones in, Coldflake. He's doing lots of good stuff. Hopefully by then I'll have that Wi-Fi box that we've been talking about. But before we do anything else, it's time to get into the news. OzByDrone news is brought to you by AirData UAV. Is your drone healthy, or is it about to surprise you on your next flight? Don't wait to find out. Discover under the hood information and review the early signs of problems before you take off again. Use the discount code OzByDrone20 and you will get a 20% discount. There is a link in the description. Also remember, you can get a free trial of that service. And in fact, there is a free version that you can keep using again and again and again. You don't have to pay if it does enough for what you want. So let's get into the... Okay. I just looked down and I remembered I'd forgot something on my checklist. That's a title from last week, so let's just ignore that.
That's what I was going to say. That's a last week aeroplane.
Yeah, okay, let's look at this one. The first one is the Japanese airline ANA is betting big on drones. The company, perhaps best known for its luxurious flights, recently announced a partnership with Germany-based Wingcopter that could open the door for its dominance in the world of drone delivery. The two companies will conduct trials using Wingcopter's electrical fixed-wing VTOL to test how it could build a drone delivery network across Japan. Testing has already commenced when a drone flew between Fukujima and Hisakajima in Goto City to demonstrate the viability of using drones to deliver medical supplies with the intent of increasing delivery speeds.
With Wingcopter's high-performance drone solution, we can reach remote islands with high speed. Strong partnership with Wingcopter will bring dramatic change in logistics in Japan, and it will bring great opportunities to provide better quality of life in near future and beyond.
We believe that by building these logistical highways in the sky, we can really speed up any kind of deliveries, not just in healthcare, but also looking at grocery, consumer goods, or food. So life will be better with this partnership. ANA and Wingcopter are perfectly positioned to make the future possible now.
So for me, the big story there is who's involved. Getting a regular airline to be involved in drone delivery and having their processes and procedures and thinking behind that on a long-term basis.
I don't think it's any surprise. I mean, it's part of, their core business is aviation. I think we see a lot of, companies, Airbus as an aircraft manufacturer, of course, are getting into urban mobility and what will be a future of manned aircraft, if you like, of this nature with quads and so forth. But I know that that airframe is a real good airframe. I think one of the things about partnerships that's going to be important going forward is that if you've got a company like Airbus, they're able to certify components. So, when you're building aircraft that where the parts are actually being tested, and this when you get to a certification, whatever it is, Part 139 or Part 4325, and different levels of certification allow it to do different things, either carry the public or carry freight, do different things. Aircraft manufacturers are going to bring that to our industry in a big, big way. They're going to take one of our motors, they're going to test them, and they're going to give a certification to it. And then they'll say, well, this needs to be replaced every 2,000 hours, and it's okay. It's not going to fail. There's a very low chance of it failing in 2,000 hours. So that's the sort of partnerships I think that are going to really, really help alongside that, and that's the manufacturing ones as well. Interesting times.
I look forward to seeing a certification for a drone that can lift a guy on a chair with a fishing rod and a beer in the other hand, but that's another story. We'll get back to Tim. We'll get back to Tim in a couple of weeks. Okay, we fixed the titles. The second one, Singapore drone inspections. Now, an unmanned drone will soon become common sight at 6 reservoirs in Singapore as part of a National Water Agency daily operation. Drones will be first deployed at Macritchie and Marina Reservoir at the end of this month, with 4 others to be deployed at other reservoirs in the third quarter of this year. Now, this is a clip of a takeoff, so they're using drone-in-a-box type solutions. It's a bit of a slow start, but then we'll get in. Let's get to the second clip, actually. Why is that paused there? Let's skip that clip altogether and just go to the other one. So this is some of their early flight testing over Singapore. So they've obviously got regulatory authority and approval to be flying in those kind of areas, in a very densely populated area, but they're going to be flying predominantly over reservoirs. Okay, let's leave that there.
Yeah, Singapore's paving away a lot of different UTMs, ways for aircraft to have lanes, if you like, operating highways throughout Singapore. So, they're ahead of the game there. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah. Speaking of UTM and airspace kind of things, we've been skirting around today. So the third story is ANRA Technologies have announced Smart Skies Delivery, the end-to-end mobile and web-based software solution to provide drone delivery services for commercial, government, medical applications, connecting vendors, and so on. In a single solution. The delivery connects all the necessary stakeholders by providing vital information and data exchanges necessary for all of the kind of stuff that you need to do that end-to-end. Now, this is only a small section of the video that they produced. If you want to go and have a look at the entire video, do go to the link in the description, and you can actually see the one company is providing the end-to-end solution, including the e-commerce starting of the process, where they're, you know, providing an order portal, providing the warehouse and fulfillment delivery section, authorization of flights, route mapping and planning. The whole end-to-end solution from one company, I think, will be well received by people who do want to do drone delivery. Thoughts, John?
Well, there's got to be some bucks in it. I mean, you know, we're seeing so many, you know, companies that just see this as their future, you know, as a big money spin. I suppose we sort of heard the first news about getting pizzas delivered that way, and we probably didn't take it seriously, you know, whereas I always sort of knew that medical supplies and blood and, you know, transfer of vital medical equipment would be the first type of deliveries that you would see that would make sense, and they've got a good reason to do it. I mean, that'll drive it. There's
many people that are still skeptical, and I kind of get that. I mean, Ken keeps on saying on his show, you know, this is never going to happen, and I can just imagine some yokel in America going and shooting down a drone because they're flying over their property and all of that. But
well, it won't be the first time though that things have been set up and tried, you know, to speculate whether it would work. I mean, imagine if you're on the front end of IT technology, you know, and remember the early days of that, and they're saying, well, connecting all computers together, what for? You know, what's the point? What's the point of that? I mean, we could easily be skeptical, and not see something like that coming. But you know, Ken's got a strong point too. There'll be problems. There will be, you know, those sort of issues of drones, you know, being shot down and all that sort of thing. People aren't going to find favour with them until they start using them. And mobile phones were the same. They really were that type of technology.
And go back a little bit further, horse and cart. They said these things will never take off, pardon the pun, but yeah. So,
absolutely.
You know, it'll take time.
It's in our nature. We like to be a little bit sceptical, and there are the others that are going to, you know, push forward, venture out and give it a try. But I can see the delivery thing, you know, there's some big companies betting on this, and big money going into it. So I like it for a couple of things. I think that it pushes while there are people backing it, and I have no real interest in it much at all, I've got to say. My flying doesn't, I don't think about that at all. But I think it'll open other doors that I might benefit from. So apart from getting my coffee delivered, you know, so we'll see what happens.
I'll just add one other thought before we do move on to the next story, the Skydio one, is the fact that they've actually got an end-to-end ecosystem is, I think, removing a barrier that would otherwise prevent people from getting into that. So we'll have to see. And I do like the comment from Brant Ariel, skeet shooting for Amazon prizes. Yeah, perhaps. Moving on to our next story for now. There we go. Okay, got it. Moving on to our next story, we've been getting a sense lately that there's kind of a drum roll going on for Skydio, and there is. They move towards a major event on June 2nd. We've been getting used to seeing some pretty amazing scans produced with the Skydio 2 drones, specifically scans carried out with their 3D scan software. With a few basic inputs from the pilot, the drone automatically scans whatever object is within a user-defined volume, and the outputs that we've already seen have been pretty stellar, and it seems like Skydio tries to up the game every time. So this is yet another of their scans, and they're obviously going and having some fun moving around that 3D model that they've created. We've got a second video this week as well. And again, just another surface, another structure that they've got there, going and moving around that object and having some fun with what they've already scanned. It's absolutely incredible. But I like the fact that, you know, there's a lot more automation capability in there. I suppose that's a bad thing for drone pilots in the long term, but being able to use that as a tool rather than needing an expert drone pilot.
Yeah, that's only going to get better. You know, once the LiDAR, miniaturization of LiDAR will allow you to just move into places where you wouldn't normally be able to fly. That's right.
Did I miss something?
LiDAR has dollars attached to it. It's a $ LIDAR.
You got a
Cars,
super chat.
everything. Oh, super chat, beautiful.
Who was that from, Lloydie? I missed it.
Joe Blaylock.
Joe Blaylock, thank you for that. There we go. There's the one from my side. Thank you for that, Joe. Appreciate it. What was the message?
It said, here's to a great weekend, Greg and John.
Oh, there you go.
Is the chat thing not working again?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. I just forgot to put it up.
You just didn't
So
press
used
the
to it
button.
not work. I'm so used to it not working, I forgot to use it.
He's been on the Vegemite again.
Yeah.
Let's just have a quick little interlude. Actually, no, we'll finish this. We'll finish one more story, and then we've got our guest, and we'll
I want to
we'll
get
merge.
the guest, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
$12.34 from Joe Blaylock. Here's to a great weekend. Thanks for that, Joe. Appreciate it. Our next story, here's a bit of a fun one. Police in South Australia are warning people against doing gender reveal parties that involve burnouts and drones. Some hoons around the country have rigged their cars with specially encrusted tyres and made their cars do burnouts to announce what their baby will be, boy or girl. SA Police have said there is absolutely no excuse to make a car do a burnout and have warned that the law will come down hard on those wanting gendered burnouts. Now, this clip is a little bit longer than we normally have, and I want to let it play through. I don't want to stop it or pause it or fast forward. John, what's going to happen?
They're going to have to buy new tyres, basically.
Everyone in the chat, I want you to tell me what is going to happen. How could this possibly go wrong?
Yeah, it could go wrong. There's a fairly large drop off the edge, but look, I don't know. It just seems like kids having fun. Oh, look at that! Oh man. Like I said, they're going to have to buy some new tyres. I've never seen that. Yeah, I suppose that's what happens, doesn't it?
It gets better.
Oh, really? They get out of the car, I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
Take the baby out.
Keep watching. There's
Is the
more
baby
fire.
in there? Oh, they're going to push it off the cliff? No. Oh, he's still in the car, man.
Uh-huh.
Still in the car. That's not a good idea. Yeah, get out of the car. That's a good idea.
Look, go and click on the link. Go and click on the link in the description and you can watch the rest of it. But basically, the car is no more.
Those South
Now they
Australians.
can't afford the kid.
Yeah, you
Kids
can't
are
afford it
expensive
anyway,
to
Lloyd.
start with. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to go and cut over to our guest now. We've got Caleb from Dojo for Drones. I haven't got my magic title button ready. Something happened with that today. I forgot to do it. My bad. Caleb, welcome.
How's it going? Great to be here.
Caleb?
I don't know, being here after that magic title button, I might need to leave soon because of that, but
Look,
glad to be here.
It's not the end of the world, but thank you for joining us. We showed some of your stuff from a couple of weeks ago. You do stuff with Raspberry Pi, and Lloyd does stuff with barky dogs.
That
Talk
sounds
to
like
me
a
about
little dog.
Yeah, talk
Sorry, go ahead.
to me about Raspberry Pi, and did it start with a Pi or did it start with a drone, and how did you put the two together to start with?
It kind of started out with just a basic Pixhawk, and then quickly that reaches a wall of capabilities. There's a ton you can do, but to really, take the cap off the possibilities from a technical perspective of what you can do with a drone, putting a companion computer on a drone just, unleashes everything. So then got into slapping Raspberry Pis on drones and started having some fun experimenting with various projects.
Yeah. So we see this is a video clip that we played from a couple of weeks ago. We'll leave the audio off so we can have a chat. But in a couple of moments, we'll see you playing with a Raspberry Pi and a drone. Now, why use a Pi and why not just a Pixhawk?
So if you want to do like autonomous missions with a purely Pixhawk drone, you can program predetermined missions, like I want to fly to these waypoints, do these actions at these waypoints, and fly home. But those missions are predetermined. Something that the Raspberry Pis are great at adding to your mission capabilities is sort of a dynamic ability in a mission. So, for example, one of the missions we did at the Drone Dojo was a precision landing over an Aruko marker, and all that image processing was done on the Raspberry Pi. So it flew to a waypoint, and then there was a gap there. The drone's like, what should I do? The Raspberry Pi had the reins of the control, scanning the images, found the image it was supposed to land on, and then could continue with the mission. Something like that is hard to do with just a Pixhawk alone.
Okay, fair call. We've been talking a little bit about drone delivery. Is Raspberry Pi one of the solutions that people are turning to? Do you think it's got a place in that kind of arena?
You know, that's a good question. Maybe if you're doing it at a production level scale, you might want a more beefy computer. The Raspberry Pis are pretty impressive, but for sure you'll probably want some sort of companion computer alongside your drone to do some of those drone delivery type missions.
And you wouldn't need that for CPU power. I mean, let's face it, a Linux box running on a Raspberry Pi is reasonably well powered. Would you not just what would you want a beefier computer for?
Maybe just, I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, I'm just thinking myself, if I was doing something in that space, maybe I'd get 2 Pis for redundancy and something like that. But I personally think it'd be powerful enough.
It could be. There are, if you're doing image processing for precision landing, the beefier the computer, the higher up in the air your drone will be able to see that marker it's supposed to land on from. But, you know, a lot of these drone delivery missions you're seeing, it's not really requiring precision landing. It's just like, here's an open field and deliver this medicine. But maybe for some, if drone delivery ever takes off in, like, you know, in a neighborhood where you need to be very precise, then you'll probably need some sort of non-microcontroller based computing power on your drone. Yeah. But that's just my thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm likewise just thinking out loud. John, talk to me. What are your thoughts and questions about the Drone Dojo and their playing with Pis?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a fantastic thing because it does open up so many possibilities. The other thing is the Raspberry Pi is the connectivity. You can easily just plug a 4G modem in. You can work IP solutions with it. There's so many other little subroutines that you can run. And certainly, you know, there's no reason then the Raspberry Pi can't even work with a Pixhawk as a backup autopilot. You know, you've got those options. So if you ever need a dual flight controller, you definitely have a computer looking over that, whether you had a Navio board and you had, or, you know, one of the other MLID autopilots. I think the Raspberry Pi is a great solution. And, you know, I agree with Caleb, you know, larger aircraft might have a more robust solution than the Raspberry Pi. Not saying what the Raspberry Pi can and can't do, perhaps in terms of its sourcing of power and browning out. You know, one thing you need to do, of course, if you load up some of these smaller electronics solutions with all sorts of, you know, equipment, you can brown out the computer, which is a problem. You know, so it needs to have an independent power source, and then run all of your servos and all your other things off a different power rail or different power bus. But I think it's great. I mean, you know, I love the way Caleb so easily it rolls out of the mail. We did this and we did that. You know, it's not a small feat. It's a fun thing to do, but you'll be doing a bit of reading and watching a few, you know, people set them up, you know, before you get it right. But I can recommend, if you like tinkering with Raspberry Pi and you like building these aircraft, go for it, because it's great fun.
Yeah, I got a few Raspberry Pis myself. I've got one doing a phone system in my home. I've got another one doing what's called a Pi hole, which is something to block advertising from websites that you go to. Speaking of which, I think we just saw a comment about 2 Raspberry Pis as a donut. But anyway, moving on from that. And I've got that the new keyboard one as well for a little bit of tinkering around with. They're a great compute platform. I want to get back to you though, Caleb. Tell me more about the Drone Dojo in terms of other stuff that you do and you look at that other people might want to have a look at your channel for.
Sure. Yeah. So the Drone Dojo was kind of born out of wanting to make learning technical drone information more easy. Because when I was learning some of the stuff I was learning, it was like, you go to a forum, page 7, you get one answer to your problem here. Then you jump on YouTube. On page 3, you find another answer over here. So what I was trying to do with the Drone Dojo, I'm not the best technical drone person out there, but when I do achieve a certain drone technical achievement, I tried to make a very good curriculum documenting every step so that all the information is centralized. And so we have courses, we have some on like building drones from a technical hacker perspective, another on drone programming, another on drone delivery and precision landing. And with all this information centralized, it just really cuts down on the barrier to entry in terms of a time commitment.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just having a look at your page in the background here. So drone programming primer, how to build a Raspberry Pi drone, precision landing and drone delivery, 3 different courses there. What's the drone programming primer cover?
That's a pretty cool one. So you actually don't need a drone to participate in that course because the folks at ArduPilot are amazing. And, I'm leveraging a bunch of stuff that they've done. But you're basically learning how to control a ArduPilot drone simulated on your computer with Python code. And so that course is kind of teaching about the various levels of software required to program a drone, and also more simpler things like ground control stations, math proxy, mission planner, Python drone kit. So it's really just giving you the basic tool set to be able to code up your own Python scripts. And you get to test it on your computer, which is nice because debugging a new script that you've written on a live drone, I've found to be very terrifying. So being able to get those bugs out on your computer is definitely the way to go.
Yeah. Have you done much stuff with the Tello? Certainly a drone that's famous or for that kind of capability of programming and tinkering with?
I haven't yet, but I've been very tempted lately to get one and get a crack at it. I've seen some pretty interesting videos on the interwebs about those Tello drones, but I've been pretty faithful to the ArduPilot firmware and project so far, and it almost feels like cheating going over to DJI. But
yeah,
maybe
going
I will
to the
someday.
dark side.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Look, at this point, we're going to have a quick little pause from our discussion as soon as I press some buttons over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to play Stop the Yank. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to play Stop the Yank.
It was a double stump. There we go.
Wire trash.
Wire trash. I don't know. This is a bit of our show where we have some fun and share a little bit of our Aussie humour and weird things that we do. And Lloyd is our honorary stumper. He comes up with questions about Aussie slang and trivia and all of that kind of stuff, and we go and embarrass our guests with some of those questions. What do you got for us today, Lloyd?
Okay. Yeah. Let's go with the easy one right off the bat. What is a bludger? Is it Australia's famous beer? Is it... watching John. Anyways, is it one of their many, many annoying birds that they have? Or is it someone who's lazy?
Or is it something you beat someone up with?
That's right.
I like that. John or me?
It's to you, Caleb. You're the guest.
John's the Aussie, so it's up to you.
Yeah.
So John knows, of course.
I
see.
drink bludger beer. I've got a bludger in a cage here, and I'm lazy, so you can pick any of those.
And he uses his bludger on his wife.
There you go.
Oh, that went somewhere I didn't. Never mind.
That was the bird.
Yeah, the bird. Yeah.
You know, I'm really liking that bird option, the bludger bird. Is that like maybe an onomatopoeia for the sound it makes? Like, bludger?
No, actually, it's for somebody who's lazy. It means
it's
who's lazy. It's a lazy person.
Oh, man.
It's someone who's lazy, and there's actually an extended version of that. A dole bludger is someone who used to, well, the dole is an old term, but someone who was getting unemployment benefits. They're lazy, and they're getting the dole, the unemployment benefits. That's an old term, but there you go.
Okay.
Well done, Lloyd.
I've worked on that one a little bit.
Go for one.
Yeah.
Ask me about Vegemite.
Actually, you know what? Let's do that.
Yeah. Let's talk about some Vegemite.
Before the show today, we were having a little chinwag, and Lloyd has some Vegemite at home, and he put some on a donut. So let's have a quick little Vegemite session.
God.
Lloyd, can my producer get Lloyd up on the screen? There we go.
And I've already ate all the donuts, but just for those that are Americans and haven't seen this, Yanks, just look at this appetizing stuff.
No.
I mean, yeah, and it's like,
don't do it.
Right.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
And then you put it on you're supposed to put it on toast, but if you really got the guts.
No.
Vegemite.
Can I just say, I have Vegemite on toast most mornings, except I didn't today. I had peanut butter on Turkish toast for a bit of variety, but I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't eat it like that. None of us.
Nobody in Australia does. I'm the only one who's crazy.
No, we don't eat it straight like that.
Only Lloyd does that.
I've had it with crackers and hot sauce. I've had it with chocolate ice cream. I've had it.
Ooh.
I just had it with a donut before the show, a white powdered donut, one of them little. And I will say this: if you know what bouillon tastes like, or the bouillon cubes, just think of that as a paste, because that's how salty it is, and how it's, and it coats the inside. The problem with ice cream is this stuff is like a grease. So when grease gets cold, it gets really thick. So if you put it on the ice cream and they stick it in there, then it coats the inside of your mouth, and you taste that crap for a month.
Okay. Yeah. Look, quick question, John or Lloyd, have either of you got one more that we can have one more quick stumping and see how we go?
Let John do it. He's good at it.
Oh, let me see. We've had, let's see. I'm thinking of a pub one that we could use there, because you would know what the shout means. Okay, you're at the pub, and you're going to have a snakes. What's a snakes?
A snakes.
Is it a vodka-based white spirit mixed drink? Is it a cordial lolly that you can have, which goes down well with vodka shots?
No.
Or is it a trip to the bathroom?
Oh wow, you went with the out from left field on that one. I'm gonna go with A, because it just makes me think of snake venom. White.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I 0 for 2?
Lloyd?
I'm gonna go with the third one.
There you go. Yeah, to the third one.
Oh,
that's the right
because
thing again, right?
Yeah, and
It's
also
going for a snake's.
Yeah.
Means I'm going to go for a snake's hiss.
Makes sense, yeah.
You know,
Which,
that makes sense.
And also the whole thing about
Yeah.
Siphon the Python, but anyway, that's another story.
It comes from there.
And the show has just gone down, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I tried to keep it up there for a while. I tried to keep it out of the toilet, but, you know,
Yeah.
sorry.
Anyway, look, thank you very much for being with us, Caleb. It was great to have you on. Thank you for being a good sport, and while we go and ask some really stupid questions. Any last words you'd like to say about the Drone Dojo and try and get your reputation back now?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. It's been a blast. Maybe next time we'll have to do Stump the Aussie. I got a couple off the top of my head that I think would stump you guys. But
I'm
yeah,
sure.
for anyone watching this, if you are interested in checking out some of those courses, go to dojofordrones.com and contact me on the contact page. And the first 5 people to message me, I'll give you a full ride to all of our courses at the dojo. So a little
There
bit
you
of a
go. I
bonus
wasn't
for the
expecting that.
OzByDrone. Yeah.
There you go. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you very much for that. So free courses for anyone who wants to get into it. 5 people only. You got to message Caleb. So go and check it out. Caleb, you're welcome to stay in the chat room in the background. Just so you know, the link to your website has been put into the chat by Nightbot every now and again as well. So people will be able to see that. Thanks again.
Thank you
Let's
so
get
much.
into our next story, which is this one. In a galaxy far, far away, on the night of April 30, 2021, 1,000 drones decorated the night sky in a US city of Folsom to announce the arrival of Samsung's new Galaxy Book. Samsung and Intel put the Soar Drone Show to celebrate their successful collaboration on the Galaxy Book, as well as to represent the new laptop's speed and versatility with the swift, lightweight movements of the drones. Let's just turn up the audio a little bit there. It's not working. It's not Wirecast either. This is VLC. I'm just watching my producer trying to press the button. We turned the volume down before. Can you click on the little circle and drag it over? No. No more audio. Don't know where it's gone. But that was the Samsung Galaxy drone show. So that looks pretty good. Looks like we've got no more audio from our videos for the rest of the show. Oh, okay. And John is either frozen or dumbfounded by the incredible display.
It was absolutely amazing, I'd like to say. Incredible.
It's
Incredible.
illuminating.
Swarming.
Can you just play that video a little
Yes.
bit from the beginning again one more time? I just want to focus on the preparation, just the starting out of the drone show. It's interesting watching as they... did we see that in there?
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, just the setting up, and that's all I wanted to see. Going and lining them up, and, you know, it's something that we don't think about so much, but goes into every one of those productions.
I mean, it'd be a headache to charge all those things, wouldn't it? That's all I keep thinking about. Having to connect up all the chargers. I always getting tangled up in charging leads. I've got to charge my controller and my tablet and the aircraft batteries. I mean, listen to me complain. Imagine doing 300.
I don't know this for a fact, but certainly if I was Intel and rigging up that show, I'm guessing that they've got some mats with some charging rails on them that make that a lot easier than the way that we do it day to day. But just a guess, we've got 3 or 4 more stories to go. We've got some aerobatic hang gliding, and this is a story where FPV pilots have been chasing things. Well, that's pretty routine. We've seen videos chasing cars, BMX bikes last week, parasailing. This week, we've got a hang glider chase. And while that's happening, I'm going to see if I can fix the audio. So you two amuse yourself. I'll be back.
Yeah, wonderful. Oh, look at
Yeah, I'm
this.
amused.
He
Look at
just
that, Lloyd. Yeah, look at that.
is that not amazing? I mean, we aren't we having fun yet?
Well, look at
We haven't. I mean, actually, it's pretty cool. That takes some talent to be able to fly with those and not run into them.
imagine doing the first loop in a hang glider like that. You'd have to think, well, I think this is going to work. These guys, look, watch this. Dive
Look
down, check this out. They push out and then up over the top, right? That's pretty cool. Someone had to do it first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't
And
see
the
where
wings
it's.
are quite different.
Yeah, definitely different than your average hang glider, but it doesn't look
in
aerodynamically
the old
possible.
days.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because a loop is, I mean, it's just, what's amazing is, I suppose, they're not supplementing. It's all weight shift. So there's still no flight controls. So in some ways, it's a very perfect type of wing. There's no ailerons, no elevators. It's just, you're just moving the center of gravity and doing all those incredible things. It's pretty cool. He's on the car, he's doing the burnout.
That is a rigid frame, too, rather than a...
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, you're talking about an airfoil.
Yeah, like if it's a standard paraglider, they do something like that, it's going to collapse inside itself.
Yeah.
And some of the early hang
now.
gliders.
Some pretty cool footage. Do go and check out the extended video with the audio in it. Links in the description, so you can have a look at that a little bit later. It's a cool video. We're going to move from that to Hong Kong towers. This one doesn't have any audio in it anyway, but you've likely seen striking photographs of Hong Kong's incredibly densely populated public housing blocks. Last year, Davis Drieska filmed them with a drone. The population of Hong Kong is estimated at 7.5 million in 2020. It's one of the most densely populated countries in the world and has a population density of 6,790.74 people per square kilometre. Who's the 0.74?
Wow.
1 square kilometre, nearly 7,000 people. Have you've been to Hong Kong, I would say, John?
Yeah, I played a few times in Hong Kong. It's a fantastic place.
It's a beautiful
had
city.
Its troubles recently, and it is. It's a fun city. I think probably the time I used to go there in the 80s was the most fun. It was a happening place.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we watched it change over in China in the 1999. Of course, it went back to China, which is all of that's very, very interesting.
Yeah. Look, I certainly hope it changes around, and the whole handover to China was hoping that China would come up as an up-and-coming democracy, but obviously it hasn't changed, hasn't worked out quite the way we wanted. Let's move on to our next story for now, which would be... Okay, this one over here. This one is hypothetically political, but we're going to depoliticize it. Border Patrol. Fox News drone video shows migrants rushing the southern border with claims that the Border Patrol is overwhelmed. Now, take out the politics of this. Regardless of if you're for or not in favour of one side of politics or another, one thing that you can say is that drones being used as a tool, if you don't want a wall, you can use drones to go and find people. Or if you do want a wall, you can find problems in your wall or whatever it might be. Either way, interesting use of drones by governments.
Yeah, there you go. Of course, it's just law enforcement, really. And it's amazing how much application there is for it. I went to a seminar midweek, Greg, called OzByDrone down in Tasmania, and it was the first event of its kind down there in our little southern island. And many of you will know Tasmania is actually an Australian state, but they've had some fantastic things going on down there. And the Tasmanian police have got themselves an M300 and I think about 29 aircraft now that they're using in law enforcement, and they use them for all sorts of things. mostly for looking for people who are missing in the wilderness, a lot of wilderness down there. And so, yeah, they've been saving lives, and also they monitor the roads with it. You know, they use it for sections of the highway. So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, there's probably most places in the world this is quite common now. It's just another good use of the technology, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Tasmania is a good use case, absolutely, just because of, you know, you've got these densely populated edges of the country and a lot of stuff in the middle where they need a lot more mobility, and air mobility certainly helps with that. Now, I've got one last story, and this one is a corker. A horticulture company has been looking for a chemical-free solution that can protect its crops from being eaten by insects, and they decided to approach a startup called PATS, Indoor Drone Solutions, to help them provide an automated solution to protect their crops in greenhouses.
Introducing extremely small drones that hunt flying insects. Take moths, for example, which you may know from your backyard. As a pest, they are also a major cause of crop losses in greenhouses. Once a moth enters the greenhouse, it finds itself in moth heaven. Here, they can easily reproduce as there are no natural predators, and the use of insecticides is not a preferred solution. Nature solves insect overpopulation by slowly evolving natural predators. Using this as an inspiration and enabled by recent advancements in drone technology, PATS developed an artificial predator that intercepts moths mid-air. Just like nature, we built them fast and small.
I don't know what to say.
That they're safe around humans. And so fast, even cats look surprised. Our system monitors and controls moth populations in greenhouses. Plagues are kept in check while the ecological balance is sustained. The drones never sleep.
John, have you heard of anything like this before?
They'll stay inside.
I'm loving it. I've never heard anything like that before. But you know, imagine the guys are sitting around the table and they've got this idea that they're going to control insects in the greenhouse, and so they're thinking about putting insecticide sprayers and all this other stuff, and how they might have an electrode or something, and then someone said, "Oh, I got another idea. I got another idea here. Let's use some propellers."
Let's use some propellers, indeed.
Fantastic. Yeah, let's use the props. We don't need to have any kind of other method of getting rid of the moth. We've already got it, you know.
Yeah,
I think it's great. Well, how would that on scale go with even plague? We've got a couple of plagues in Australia at the moment, and I was trying to think the other day, our mice plague, how that might be a solution. You'd probably use a ground robot to do it. But of course, locust plagues and other insects. I mean, wow, on a large scale, the swarm might go up and really control these sort of problems, being a predator. Good story.
It's an interesting one, and I just saw it and I said, I have to do this one. It was absolutely going to be in. Just again, thank you,
Yeah.
Wayne. Wayne is one of our regular contributors to the show. I want to thank him. He says, thank you, Lloyd. He could taste the Vegemite through the screen, I gather. Good show, Greg and team. We've reached the end of the show. Any last words from you, John?
I enjoyed it today. It was great having Caleb on, and talking about. I know a lot of our listeners are getting into more building, and I'm seeing some good messaging of stuff. People wanted to buy a kit. I can encourage you, get into it. If you in the winter months particularly, as it's getting colder here now, probably not so in the States. But you can pick up a kit for a quad and put it together very, very cheaply. Look at the Raspberry Pi option as well. And trust me, you'll have a lot of fun soldering iron out and build yourself something. You might be surprised just how much fun it is. So it's great having Caleb on today to talk about that stuff.
Speaking of which, he says he's off to buy some Vegemite. We were joking about it at the beginning of the show, suggesting he should try that as a challenge. You don't get a refund for Vegemite.
No.
Yeah. And I do. Can you put that previous comment up again, Lloyd? The one. Where is it? Coming. It's thinking.
Yeah.
I need some hold music. Dun, da, 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 ba, da, 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 da. Come on. No, it's not coming. Good. Here we go.
There it goes.
Not that one, the other one before it.
Oh. Which one? Oh, the bug?
Yeah. So there was a comment, I can't remember who it was from. Instead of a bug zapper, it needs to be a bug chopper. But hang on, it's a quad. It's not a chopper. It's not a...
Yeah.
That was bad.
Bug quad.
Okay, well, let's stop shooting bugs out of the sky and finish the show. It's been fun having our guest on today, Caleb. Last words from you, John. We've already had John. I meant Lloyd. I'm not going well today. Lloyd.
Vegemite. The taste that lasts forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been fun having everyone here. As always, if you want to send anything, 5/127 Princess Highway, Sylvania, New South Wales, 2224 Australia. If you could follow us on social media, that's where you do it. At OzByDrone, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, DLive, and a few others in between. And if you want to send anything in, send it to upload@gregkuhnert.com. And lastly, we do have a Discord server. Nightbot should have been going and putting that in the chat room throughout the show. Please do join the Discord. We'll have a quick talk at the end of the show, but I've got to leave early today, going out to get some leech on for my other half. What's leech on?
All right, have fun, guys.
You'll have to be in the Discord to find out. See you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, everybody. See ya.
See y'all later.
See you, Grumpy. All right.
Yep. See you, John.